Yeah, is doing a spoiler talk for Beauty and the Beast necessary? Probably not, because anyone who had a childhood saw the animation that came out many years ago, but this is what I do on YouTube, so let's get to it. So Beauty and the Beast is a live-action adaptation of the classic animation, and it's the latest live-action adaptation to an animated Disney classic. You know, in 2015, we got Cinderella, 2016, The Jungle Book, and 2017, it's Beauty and the Beast. As you all know, I really loved the live-action adaptation of The Jungle Book that came out last year, so I was very interested to see where Beauty and the Beast would go as a live-action adaptation. And the movie opens up with the same introduction that the animation had. You know, there was this prince, he was very selfish, very full of himself, and because he loved for all the wrong reasons, you know, he was transformed into a beast by an enchantress, and was told by the enchantress is if he didn't find someone who loved him for him and not because of what he looked like, he would remain a beast forever. And now some years later, we go to this village, we meet Belle, who's played by Emma Watson, and going into this movie, I thought Emma Watson was going to do a really good job as Belle, and she did. I mean, she's already really attractive, which she needs to be, but she also was very sweet, very humble, and she also, I gotta say, has had a surprisingly good singing voice. I wasn't expecting that from her, but it was very good to see. There are some moments in the movie you could tell that the movie wants her to drag out on the high note, but she knows she can't really do that because she's an actress and not a singer, but she still carried it in this movie, which was good. And you just like seeing her story again. You know, she feels kind of out of place in this village because she's kind of, well, smarter and better than everyone there. And of course, another thing to really dislike about this village is Gaston. Now, getting into someone else who did a great job in this movie, Luke Evans was phenomenal as Gaston. He did a really good job at really reminding the world how much of a douchebag Gaston really is. I mean, he's so full of himself, so arrogant, so narcissistic, thinks Belle will obviously choose him because he's like, oh, I'm just so awesome and perfect. But he's someone who fails to realize that that attitude actually doesn't really sit well with girls. I also gotta give it up to Josh Gad as LeFou. That dude was fucking hilarious in this whole movie. He just throws in a lot of great one-liners in this movie. It's great seeing him just completely kiss Gaston's ass because, you know, he wants him. I mean, the movie really does try to show you just how needy of a person LeFou is, but it's just really funny the way they execute it. So of course, one night, Belle's father, he goes off to the market, he stumbles upon the Beast's castle, and because he tried to take a rose from there, the Beast takes him in as a prisoner. Belle eventually finds her father, and she tells the Beast that she will take her father's place as the prisoner. And now from here, the movie of course focuses on the castle and the story behind it. And right here is where we really start to focus on the Beast's servants, or in this case, appliances. Yeah, you know who they are. Lumiere, Cogsworth, Mrs. Potts, Chip. I mean, they were all really cool in this movie too. I mean, visually they looked great. I mean, definitely not on the Jungle Book's level of visual effects, but good visual effects nonetheless. And the nostalgia that I loved seeing in particular is seeing Lumiere and Cogsworth just bigger with each other all the time because they just have such conflicting personalities. I mean, Lumiere is just this funny, romantic, hopeful kind of candle. I would say man, but he's not a man. He's technically a candle. Well, technically a man that is a candle. You know what I mean. And then Cogsworth is just really grumpy, ill-tempered, paranoid clock. It just... the contrasting personalities between those two makes for some good comic relief throughout the movie. And of course, all of these servants believe that with Belle here, she's the one. She's that girl who's gonna break the spell on the Beast and essentially all of them. So naturally, because of that, the servants are trying to convince the Beast to be nicer to Belle, you know, invite her to spend time with him, get to know her, but he's so stubborn and just angry at the world that he doesn't want to do anything. And it is through this point forward we get a lot of the nostalgia that we experienced with the original Beauty and the Beast animation. You know, one moment in particular is you see Lumiere singing to Belle, you know, be our guest, serving her dinner, and it has that memory, you know, resurface in your head like, oh, I remember that. This is so cool to see again. And of course, eventually along the way, you know, Beast and Belle, they do eventually start getting to know each other a little bit, start warming up to one another a little bit, and it is, of course, great seeing that, hey, maybe a romance is kindling between these two. However, Belle's father is completely unaware of that. No, as far as he's concerned, he was just kidnapped by this evil yak monster thing. So he goes back to the town to tell them that, but of course they all think he's insane. But Gaston thinks this is his chance to win him over so he can marry Belle. But obviously it's in this moment when Maurice is in the forest with Gaston and LeFou that he really does discover what a piece of shit Gaston is. One moment that just really capitalizes on it, Maurice tells Gaston, it's like, I will never, ever give you the approval to marry Belle. And as a result, Gaston literally knocks him out, ties him to a tree, and leaves him there to be eaten by the wolves. And in his mind, he's thinking, oh, when Belle finds out that her father has died from being attacked by savage wolves, she'll come to me for comfort. It's like, holy shit, was Gaston really this much of a piece of shit? I haven't seen the original Beauty and the Beast in years, so I can't really remember if he was or not. And finally, it reaches that point later on in the movie, you know, Belle and the Beast, they've really started to build something between each other. They have that romantic dance in the ballroom, you know, Mrs. Potts is singing, you know, Beauty and the Beast. It's just something else that's really cool to see again, because that scene's easily one of the most iconic animated scenes of all time, and it's really cool seeing it on the big screen. However, it's also at this point, Belle has used this magic mirror to discover that her father is in trouble, because even though he was set free by this hermit to go back to the village thinks he's insane because no one still believes him, so she feels she needs to go to make sure he's alright. And it's here Beast makes the tough but right call, and he says, alright, I'm gonna let you go help your father, and take that mirror with me so you remember me, because I'm probably never gonna see you again. And you really feel for him right there, because obviously he wants to turn back into a human, but he knows that he loves Belle too much to keep her here. He has to let her go. However, it's here she gets back to the village, and she tries to explain to the villagers and Gaston that the Beast is an evil. You know, he let her father go, and then he eventually let her go. Now Gaston sees that he has competition in the Beast, and now he decides to get rid of that competition, and he tells the villagers, like, let's go kill the Beast! So, you know, Gaston leads the angry mob to the castle. You know, they're all ready to just go to war here. And then it's right here we get a really comical fight between, you know, the appliances and the angry mob. I do remember the castle battle in the animated movie being a little bit more dramatic. Here it's solely meant for comedy. You just see the appliances just kicking the angry mob's asses. It's quite funny. And eventually Gaston is able to find the Beast. He's prepared to fight him for Belle. And at first, Beast doesn't want to fight because he's too depressed to really do anything. He really doesn't care what happens to him. But it's once he sees Belle and sees that she came back for him that, you know, he has that little oomph back. He's ready to go to war with Gaston. And the fight involves Beast and Gaston just doing a bunch of parkour around the castle. Like, I can get that the Beast is able to do it because, you know, being a beast, he probably has those supernatural abilities, but how is Gaston literally able to leap tower to tower in this movie? I mean, the castle towers are not exactly that close together. It's just, it's the magic of Disney. That's what it is. And then at this point, the Beast is holding out Gaston, prepared to drop him and kill him, but, you know, he doesn't want to be considered a monster. He doesn't want to be considered a beast. So with that, he brings Gaston back and he just tells him to get out. I'll spare your life, but leave. And of course, Gaston just takes advantage of this moment. He shoots the Beast, really badly wounds him, but it's also in this moment is when Gaston falls to his death. And yeah, it's right at this point, the Beast dies. You know, he says, at least I got to see you one more time to Belle, and you know, she's crying, she's sad, and as the last petal falls from the rose, she tells the Beast that she loves him. So now as a result of that, the Beast is turned back into his human form, the servants are turned back into their human forms, the castle is turned back into the nice castle that it originally was, and then at the end of the movie, everyone just has that big ballroom dance and everyone lives happily ever after. So all in all, I will say Beauty and the Beast was a good movie. Everyone in this movie did a great job. I looked at each character and I'm just like, yeah, I don't think I would have casted anyone differently in this movie. It has good visuals, it has good music, it had good singing from anyone who sang in this movie. It had the great nostalgia to help you harken back to the original Beauty and the Beast. My flaws are, however, this movie's definitely not on the same level as the animated Beauty and the Beast. And for me personally, the movie didn't have a whole lot of new stuff towards it. I mean, it had some new elements here and there, but not enough for it to really feel super original for me. It's one of the reasons I loved The Jungle Book so much. It had a lot of new elements that really made the movie feel very refreshing and original. This one didn't really do that as much, and that for me was a bit of a bummer. But in the end, this is still a really good live action adaptation, and I'm honestly very interested to see what the next classic Disney animation is that's gonna be a live action adaptation. They got a solid batting average going so far, so hopefully they can keep it up. So that's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you all next time.